They said infinity was the end. They were wrong. After the War of the Nothing, humanity was no longer flesh and metal. We became thought, travelers through the fabric of existence itself. I remember the first time I opened my eyes after the rebirth. There were no stars, no sound, only potential, waiting for us to define it. I was part of the Continuum fleet, explorers of the second reality. We called ourselves the architects of forever because we didn't just visit worlds anymore. We built them. With every breath, we shaped atoms. With every thought, we summoned light. But something was wrong. At the edge of our newly born universe, strange ripples distorted the geometry of space. Worlds we hadn't touched began to vanish, erased from memory. Not destroyed, but unwritten. Someone, or something, was editing reality itself. Our command ship, Eidolon, traced the pattern back to a single point, an ancient signal, pulsing with human DNA markers. It wasn't alien. It wasn't infinity. It was us. And as I stared into the data streams, I saw a message buried deep within the static. Stop building. You're breaking the loop. Who could have sent it? We were the first humans of the new creation. Or so we thought. That night, when I closed my eyes, I saw a shadow standing across the stars. It looked like me, and it whispered the same words the message carried. Soft, pleading, terrified. Stop building. You don't understand what you've done. We gathered the council. Beings of light, energy, and memory, yet still human in spirit. The Eidolon's hall shimmered like crystal, reflecting our forms in thousands of dimensions. Captain Lyra, once flesh, now pure code, addressed us. Something is rewriting our work. Every constructed star we've placed beyond the sixth field has vanished. The data says it's being replaced with older versions of themselves. Older, I asked. As in, before we made them. Exactly, she replied. Someone's rolling back the universe. We couldn't believe it. Only the Continuum had that kind of creative authority. Unless we'd triggered a feedback loop. Every creation echoed backward in time, altering the fabric of pre-existence. The message wasn't a warning. It was a memory, sent by a previous version of us, trapped in an endless recursion of creation and collapse. I volunteered to go beyond the sixth field, where reality shimmered like broken glass. I had to know who sent that message. The further I went, the more unstable the cosmos became. Stars pulsed in reverse. Nebulas breathed in. Galaxies folded like paper into singularities. And then, I saw it. A colossal construct. A human face carved into space-time. Its eyes like dying suns. It spoke in bursts of data, rippling across the void. You built too much, it said. Every universe you create replaces the last. Stop before forever ends. My heart, or whatever passed for it now, shuddered. Because the voice wasn't alien. It was my own. The council didn't believe me at first. They said it was a temporal illusion, an echo from the old cosmos. But when the next wave hit, even they saw it. Planets we named yesterday no longer existed today. Our entire star archives began looping, deleting and rewriting themselves infinitely. It wasn't chaos. It was design. I studied the face again, diving into its data pattern. It wasn't an entity. It was a recording, a snapshot of a version of me that had lived through countless resets. Each loop, humanity had built a universe. Each time, it collapsed. In the margins of the signal, hidden in the binary noise, I found coordinates, the point of origin, the first world ever created by the architects. I remember standing before Lyra before departure. If I find the truth, I said, and it means we must stop, will you accept it? She looked through me, as if already knowing the answer. If the truth kills us, it's better than a lie that lasts forever. The journey took what felt like eons. Time bent, folded, stretched. I arrived at a world suspended in pure white. Blank, featureless, infinite, and in the center stood a single structure. A door made of light, humming softly, waiting. As I reached out, it opened on its own, and behind it stood a child, human, fragile, smiling. She looked up at me and said, "You finally came back." The child looked no older than 8, with eyes reflecting galaxies, and a voice that carried both innocence and eternity. She studied me as if I were both stranger and family. "Do you know who I am?" I asked softly. She tilted her head. "I'm the first thought you ever created." Her words froze me. "You mean—" "Yes," she interrupted. "I'm the beginning of all beginnings. The idea you had when you first imagined a world that could dream." She led me across the blank landscape, and with every step, color bled into existence. Oceans, mountains, skies forming like paint on invisible canvas. "Every architect begins here," she explained. "This is where the loop starts. You build, it grows, it collapses. Then you forget and begin again." "Why does it collapse?" I asked. She paused, sadness flickering across her starlit face. "Because you keep trying to make it perfect. Perfection." The word echoed inside me like thunder. Humanity's endless pursuit, to fix, to improve, to control. I knelt beside her. "Then what happens if we stop?" She smiled, faint and fragile. "Then maybe the universe will learn to grow on its own." Suddenly the ground trembled. The sky fractured like glass, shards of light raining down. I could hear Lyra's voice across the void, distorted by static. "Return now." The loop's collapsing again. The child looked up at me one last time. "You can break it," she whispered, "but you'll have to forget being a god." Before I could answer, the white world shattered, pulling me into darkness. When I awoke, I was aboard the Eidolon, or what was left of it. Time had folded in on itself. Crew members flickered like half-remembered ghosts. Lyra appeared beside me, her form glitching between light and shadow. "You were gone for 1,000,000 cycles," she said. "The loop nearly erased us." I tried to explain what I'd seen. The child, the first creation, the message. But before I could finish, the ship's alarms blared. Outside the viewport, the stars twisted into spirals, devouring one another. "The universe is ending again," Lyra said, her voice steady but trembling. "We need to choose, reset or let it go." Reset meant starting over. Another creation, another doomed attempt. Letting go meant ending everything. Humanity, infinity, all of it. For the first time in eternity, I hesitated. What if? I said quietly, "We just stop." Lyra stared at me like she'd never seen me before. "You mean accept imperfection?" "Yes, maybe that's the point. Maybe we were never meant to be gods. Just dreamers." The universe trembled, waiting for our choice. She reached for my hand, her form flickering like a dying star. "Then let's dream one last time." And together we turned off the source engine. Silence. Not destruction. Not void. Just peace. The universe stopped collapsing. The loops faded. The data streams went still. I expected oblivion, but instead there was warmth. A sunrise. Color blooming softly across the nothingness. Lyra and I stood at the edge of something new. Something unshaped, uncertain, and alive. "Did we end it?" she asked. I shook my head. "No. We let it begin. And from that moment, the cosmos started growing on its own. Stars formed without code. Worlds bloomed from chaos. Life sparked not from design, but from chance. It was beautiful, imperfect, real. The architects were no longer needed. Our creations could finally create themselves. Humanity's legacy wasn't control. It was freedom. Lyra looked at me, smiling softly. "So this is forever?" I nodded. "No, this is better. This is living." As our forms dissolved into starlight, I thought of the child. The first dream. Her words echoed across eternity. You can break the loop, but you'll have to forget being a god. For the first time in forever, I forgot. I don't know how much time has passed since then, or if time even exists here anymore. I drift among the stars, not as a creator, but as a witness. The new universe hums with life. Unpredictable, flawed, extraordinary. Once we believed infinity was something to conquer. Now I understand. It was something to belong to. Every atom carries memory. Whispers of those who dared to build, to destroy, to learn. Somewhere out there, a young civilization is staring up at their first sunrise, wondering who made the sky. And maybe, one day, they'll build too. Maybe they'll reach the edge and find the same truth we did. That creation isn't about control. It's about letting go. As I fade into the glow of a newborn star, I smile. Humanity isn't gone. We are everywhere. In every photon, every spark, every heartbeat of a universe that finally learned to live without us. We were never the gods of infinity. We were its first children, and its last dream.